Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever Buddies Much podcast. Well, the first ever episode, I should say. I am Chase, and I'm gathered here with your two other hosts.
I'm Andrew.
And Sean.
And today, we would like to maybe do a little get to know you, and we're talking about like top 5 favorite movies.
Favorite
Oh,
movies.
okay.
But
I wrote a list.
we'll probably...
I also have a list on my phone. Are we numbering them? Like number one is our
Yeah.
number one.
Number
five
one,
is number
your
five?
favorite. Number 5, your
Okay.
fifth favorite.
Okay.
And maybe we'll throw in like most hated.
Oh, most hated movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
we're
there's
going to get angry in here. We're going to get ragey.
we can get angry.
I'm going to get
Okay.
mad.
Also-
I got some stuff to say.
Also on my list, I don't know if this is cheating, but on one of mine, it's a series of movies. So, for example, I'm not saying it's Harry Potter, but if it were Harry Potter, it was just
we
like
know
the
you love Harry Potter.
No. If it
So
was,
you don't love Harry
McGonagall
Potter.
over there.
You don't like Harry Potter?
it's okay. I mean,
Your wife's going to listen to this.
I love Harry Potter, but no. But are we doing like one? Like, if you liked Harry Potter, could you only pick one movie, or could you just say I like the movies?
The whole series. That's...
Because that's a big
Okay.
part of.
Well, all right. No, that's fine. Yeah, that's
okay,
fine.
Well, we'll figure it out.
We'll get nice and specific for you guys.
All right.
So, should we just go around the room?
Yeah. Let's
Should we start with number 5?
We'll go around and we'll each say our number 5, and we'll all work up to our number 1.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I guess Chase, start us off, man. Your number 5.
My number 5 is probably... Now, given I have spent hours on these lists, like through my lifetime mainly, but I mean I got honorable mentions, all this stuff. But my number 5 favorite goes back to my childhood, and I would say Treasure Planet.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, Treasure Planet.
Like, that movie hits me in the feels. I can understand why you...
Well, is that why it's your favorite? Is it just like nostalgia based?
Nostalgia. Anytime I rewatch it, I'm just like, I love it. I'll rewatch Lion King and be like, meh, don't really care.
It's not Treasure Planet.
I do not see a single space surfer up there.
Yeah.
So tell us some things that you like. Are there specific scenes?
Favorite scene?
Favorite scene.
I'll tell you right now. I don't know anyone who voice acts in that movie. Do you know anyone? Does it have anyone?
I don't
in
have
there?
my computer. I
Oh,
can't. I don't.
Anyway,
I'm pretty sure it's pretty iconic people though.
I don't know. It just was awesome. I really love the whole, got to go on this adventure to find yourself type,
so
Becoming a man.
I actually don't remember the movie all that much. Is it made by Disney? Is
Yeah.
it?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
One of the
Oh, it is Disney.
underrated Disney movies.
So when did this come? This had to have been an older.
I
Disney
swear
movie,
it was
right?
like the same animation department as Atlantis.
Oh, okay.
So about the same time. I
like
want to say
2001,
my favorite
2000?
scene in
Treasure
Treasure Planet.
Planet came out in 2002.
Oh, okay.
2002.
Pretty close.
Oh.
You didn't let him finish. He was going to say 2000.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. It's rated R though. No, I'm just kidding. It's not rated R. It's PG. It's family adventure.
If you watch the deleted scenes, it's rated R.
Gosh. So give us like a brief synopsis. What is Treasure Planet about?
Well, it's about this kid. Now, I know I said it's my favorite, but I can't remember his name.
Jim.
Jim. Oh, yeah, Jimbo. So, he's on his adventure to find his own, to find this mythical treasure planet that has all the...
It's Treasure Island, but in space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Treasure Island, the book.
Yeah.
So that's very cool.
Anyway, what about you guys?
Sean, let's go to you. Number
Okay.
5.
My number 5. So hot.
Oh my God.
Want to touch the hiney. Ooh. That is from Billy Madison.
That's a very
Adam
good movie.
Sandler comedy where he is, how old is he? Like 30 something?
Oh yeah, he's got to be in his late 20s or early 30s and just doesn't really do anything.
He has to go back to school to prove to his dad that he's not a failure.
That
Probably one of our most quoted movies of all time.
that's
Just
very
like-
true. It's a very quotable movie.
This milk could be our milk.
This milk could be almond milk. Rather have a beer. Okay.
Stop looking at me, swine.
Favorite quote from Billy Madison. What?
Man, this isn't even a popular quote, but I think about it all the time. Where he's like, "Now I'm gonna misquote it." Wow, but he says, "Saying sorry doesn't put the Triscuit crackers in my belly. Now does it?"
Doesn't put the delicious Triscuit crackers in my mouth, does it, Carl?
Or it has to be towards the very end where the moderator for the game show or the game show host keeps talking about his wife, where he's like,
My wife, the tramp.
the dirty tramp. Or when Billy Madison goes into this big long monologue about how the business ethics question or whatever, he ties it into the puppy that lost its way.
Oh,
He
yeah,
goes to
yeah.
that huge thing, and then at the end he's like, "Not only are you wrong, but all of us here are now dumber because of what you've just said. May God have mercy on your soul." A simple no would suffice. That's my favorite.
Mine's probably I painted the duck blue because I've never seen a blue duck before.
Or I just like Miss Lippy, the
Really?
teacher, just in general, like everything she does is,
So,
thank you very much, Miss Lippy!
fun fact about one of the Miss Lippy scenes. Do you remember the part where the kids go to recess and he stays inside because he got bullied?
Yeah.
Miss Lippy's like, "No, you need to go outside." So he goes outside and they're all playing dodgeball, and they all hit him, and he's like, "All right, my turn." And he takes the dodgeball and hits the kids as hard as he could. So when that scene was filmed, he was not supposed to hit them as hard as they could, but he did it anyway. And the kids started crying afterward, and they asked him, they're like, "Why did you just pelt these kids?" And he went, "Because it's funny." He went all out just for that one scene.
Like, they could sue me all they want. I'll
Yeah,
make $1 million on this movie.
It was a very accurate scene. They got hit and they started crying.
So let's move on to Andrew.
Okay, so
top
Your
five.
number 5.
my top five's kind of all over the place as far as genres go. My top 5 is the movie Saw.
Saw.
The horror movie.
Which Saw?
The first one. The first
Okay,
one.
all right.
I do like the second one, and then as they progress, they
They get worse.
They get worse. Let's be honest.
I like
they,
Saw 2
They
the
get
best.
crazy, but to me, Saw 1. I had a period of time when I was growing up, mainly in my teens, where I watched a lot of horror movies, and that one, I have another horror movie on here, but Saw to me was a very clever movie. And
Oh, yeah.
Fun fact, they shot it all in one warehouse. It was very under budget, and it ended up just exploding. And I thought that was really, really cool. And I like the actors in it, and I like the
Yeah.
concept, and I prefer more darker topics, especially this happens all the time where I watch a movie and I'm like, it could have been a little darker, and it's like a family show or something. I'm like, oh.
Bambi was just a little too...
I mean, the beginning's nice, the hunter.
I'm all aboard for the dead mother. Like, keep that going.
No, I like the Saw movie, the first one. I actually really do like the second one, but I think the Saw character is really cool. I like the challenges, and I like how he's a bad guy, but he doesn't think he's. I mean, I guess that's all bad guys, but he honestly thinks
Yeah.
he's doing like quote unquote God's work,
Sure.
or that he's saving people because that situation saved him. And
Oh, yeah.
have you seen it, Chase?
It's been forever.
It's been forever.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
know
think
you've
I've
seen
watched
it.
them all with you.
I think the last time I watched Saw was like all of them back to back.
So I did that too. I watched, I think, 5 or 6 in a row. I binged it. It was on my laptop, and after the 6th one, I closed my laptop, and I just had this bad feeling. I was just like, that is enough for today.
I've seen so many intestines today.
Yeah, I was just like so numb and like,
It took a
What-
while to
what
get rid of
is
the night
life?
terrors.
yeah. But yeah, Saw starring Tobin Bell. I love him as Jigsaw. I think he's been Jigsaw almost in every movie. In every movie, right? I didn't see the newest Jigsaw.
Oh,
But-
yeah, the one with it's not Kevin Hart, is it?
I have no idea.
No. It's
I did not see the latest one.
I mean, me either. I have no idea, but
But there's a lot of cool traps. Anyway, that's my number 5.
All right.
Let's loop it back around.
4.
Number 4.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
I knew you were going to say
Ooh.
that.
Okay.
That's a good one, too.
Is Scott here?
That's
Ah,
my favorite.
just
That's-
missed it.
That's
my
a pretty
favorite
popular GIF or meme now.
No,
It's pretty funny.
That one, and when he's fighting the skateboard boyfriend.
Oh, is that where
And
he's
it's just like, "Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun." Wow.
is that the same scene where he's like something like, "I know you'll fight me. Why? Because girls are watching." Is that it?
Yeah, that's the same scene.
yeah.
Yep. Wonderful movie.
Love
Underrated.
Scott Pilgrim.
I love it.
Like one of the few movies
Starring Michael Cera.
where Michael Cera isn't terrible.
I actually like him for the most part. He kind of plays the same role. In
That's
every
what I'm saying.
movie.
He can play one character, and
Yeah.
in Scott Pilgrim, like that was that character, and
Yeah.
it worked for him.
I thought it was good. I mean, yeah.
One of my favorites. My number 4.
It was based off a graphic novel, right? Was it a graphic novel?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I have no
So
clue.
what's the difference between a graphic novel and a comic book?
I don't know. I
I
think
don't know
once-
either.
I just go to Barnes and Nobles and there's the graphic novel section, there's the comic section. So take that as you will.
It's one of those.
All right, Sean.
Sean, number 4.
Number 4, DC's animated Batman Under the Red Hood.
Oh wow.
It wasn't you, Andrew. I think it was Chase, where I was talking to him. We were on a trip. We were sitting in a hotel room, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I love this movie." And Chase was like, "Oh, I haven't seen it." And so like I went out and bought an HDMI cord so I could hook it up to the TV, and I'm like, "We're watching it right now."
Just a little precursor. Sean and Chase used to work together. That's why they were in the hotel room.
You don't out me like
Hey.
that.
Hey, Andrew, you and I haven't worked together, but yet we've shared a hotel room.
That's true.
That was for
Comic-Con.
that different thing.
Actually, there's been
Comic
way more,
Con,
there's way more than that. BlizzCon,
Disneyland, Disneyland again.
That one time we were bored and just wanted to see what La Quinta was like.
What's your 4?
Okay, so again, this is where I kind of cheated because it's a bunch of movies, but it's technically the first one. My number 4 is, this may be a little bit of a shock, and I might get some crap for this, Mission Impossible.
Oh, I knew that. I knew that was going to
yeah,
be
no.
your top.
Yeah.
I like Mission
I
Impossible.
love Mission Impossible. I actually watched this as a little kid, which I think some people were. I didn't watch a lot of Disney growing up, but I watched it as a kid, and I didn't really understand it because I was really, really little. And then I would watch it later, and it's intense, and it has like a good plot twist at the end, and
Yeah.
you know, it was just to me a better James Bond because I liked Tom Cruise as
Now that's
Ethan
a
Hunt,
bold
and
claim.
I guess that is. I guess it's wrong to compare them because they're two different agencies, and
Well, also
Stuff like
because
that.
there's been like 16 James. So like, which James Bond do you mean?
that's a good point. That's a good point. But I love Mission Impossible. They have good action scenes while still having a plot. I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of movies now that they focus really, really heavy on the action, and you're just like, okay, a lot of base explosions, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, have you guys seen the first one, or do you remember it at all?
Yeah. No, I've seen Mission Impossible.
Oh, is that the one with the motorcycle chase? And
Oh,
where they change the tires
where
out?
they switch out the tires every 2 seconds. I don't think it is because I think no, it's definitely not that
No,
one.
okay.
I think it's 2 or 3, and that's also the one where they both jump off the motorcycle, they crash midair and just fall straight down, which is not how physics works, by the way. And yeah, that one. I think that was number 3. It's riddled with mistakes, but we love it.
It's about the emotions you're feeling while watching.
And I've heard some people gripe about it where they're like, their complaint is like, oh, there's just so many. And my argument is, well, there's a lot of impossible missions out there, so you're gonna have to deal with it. But I will admit, sometimes it gets a little repetitive, where it's just
Where it's
like,
not
you
as
get-
impossible mission as.
kind of, or it's just like your typical like Born Identity.
Yeah.
James Bond stuff where it's like, oh, now he's been framed. Oh, now he needs to get this list of agent. Now he is going rogue. Oh, who's he gonna recruit? Well, it's the same people. They
now
always
Tom
recruit.
Cruise is really old and can't do his own stunts.
No, he still does.
Does he really?
Yeah, what's that latest movie he came out with? That was terrible.
That,
I can't remember. He broke his ankle.
oh.
Dang it, I cannot remember.
Edge of Tomorrow?
No,
That was a good
it. Gosh dang it.
Random sidetrack while you're looking it up. They're remaking
Top Gun.
Top Gun.
They are Top
Did
Gun
you see
Maverick.
that?
Yeah.
Ugh.
You know, so
I don't know
just
about that.
a side tangent. My father, his favorite movie of all time, I'm pretty sure, is Top Gun. We always
Is he excited for that?
I don't know. My dad's hard to read,
Oh,
but he has like a lot of T-shirts that we've given him over the years, and I actually went to Comic-Con one of the years with you guys to get Val Kilmer's signature on the copy of it.
I remember that.
But Val Kilmer was charging a ton of money, and you didn't get to see him. And I'm like, is he back there? Is he actually back there?
Oh, you hand like an
You
attendant
hand
a piece of
so
paper.
what you do is you hand him the merch that you want signed.
Sure.
And then you write on a piece of paper what you would like it to say. And I always thought it'd be funny is if I handed him a Top Gun thing, but quoted a different movie. But then, no, I was gonna have it write something like, like to Paul, blah blah blah, from Iceman, because I'm pretty sure he's Iceman
Yeah.
in the movie. But it was a lot of money, and they had this curtain, and I'm like, I don't think that's him, man. Maybe
Do they
it
like
is.
take it behind the curtain,
Yeah,
come back
like
out, and
that's
it's got a
just it
scribble
was
on
super
it?
shady, and there was a super long line, and I'm like, whatever. But Top Gun Maverick is about Tom Cruise coming out of retirement, quote unquote, to
I thought
teach.
he never retired.
Well, okay, here's the thing. So there's a scene in the trailer where he comes back, and it's pretty much he's going to teach the new recruits. And in one of the scenes, he's talking to one of the superiors, and he's like, I didn't think, like, you'd ever want me back. Like, I didn't think I didn't think I would ever come back. And the guy looks at him and says, it's called orders.
Yeah,
And I thought that was pretty cool. It's like, you're still, like...
yeah. Active duty or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, or something like that. But it's got that guy in it from Whiplash. I can't remember his name.
Hmm.
Do you
J.K.
remember-
Simmons?
No, I think it's
Old
Miller. But he's like the new. I think he's one of the new recruits.
Oh, yeah.
Who's also in Fantastic Four. Miles
Morales?
Teller. No, Miles
Miles
Teller.
Morales.
Miles Teller. But sorry, we got kind of sidetracked. But
Yep.
anyway,
Yeah.
Tom Cruise. I think he's a great actor. I think he does really well. As a person, that's a different topic.
Yeah,
He's interesting.
He does good work, and we'll just leave it at that.
I'm 90% sure my dad proposed to my mom after that movie and said, will you go into the danger zone with me with the ring? At least that's the
After
story.
You're 90% like
you're talking
that's
about
how they
Top
tell
Gun.
it.
Top Gun.
I thought you were talking about Mission Impossible. I'm like,
No,
whoa,
Top Gun.
what?
Is that how
My
they
dad gets
tell
on
it?
one knee. Will you go into the danger zone with me?
That's a really good story.
But I don't know if we made that up. My brother might have made that up, and we just rewrote
Wow, what a troll.
rewrote history.
And he's just like, yeah, no, that's what
Yeah,
happened.
that's exactly what happened.
But going back to Mission Impossible, I'll try not to drag it on too long. But some of the sequels are iffy. I still really look forward to when they come out because they're really good. The one thing they use and abuse in that series is the face technology.
Yep.
Where they like rips off the face. It's, it was me the whole time. Like it was cool the first couple times, but then I just get anxiety where I'm like, nah, it's not you. That's not you. That's not you. I'm like, I got one of them. There you go. It's not him.
See that when you like
One trick pony.
bring that in,
But in one of the movies, I think it was 2 movies ago, they're in that skyscraper and they have a briefcase. It's like a little thing that you open and it makes the face. It's like a little, and it ends up breaking. And I think that was like a little inside joke that they made where it's like, we can't use the face thing anymore, so we need to find an actual way to complete the mission. So I thought that was funny that they did that.
all right,
So anyway, enough about that. We'll move on to
we're
back to Chase.
number 3 now.
Number 3, Serenity / all of Firefly.
Firefly.
Firefly was Firefly was the TV show.
See-
Serenity was the movie, but I had to put Serenity in there as my number 3 because I also love Firefly.
I loved Firefly.
I know. I watched every single episode with you.
I wasn't incredibly in love with Serenity.
I mean, it was kind of a rush job that they had to. The fans, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's tragedy what happened to Firefly. Like, all the cool stuff they could have done with that.
I'm pretty sure I watched the whole series with you.
Yeah, you did.
Then I watched the whole series with you.
Hashtag worth.
I loved it. Summer Glau, marry me.
Ugh,
I liked it.
my least favorite character.
It did have kind of like a...
Don't listen to him, Summer.
I feel bad saying this because like the whole reason the movie was made was to like tie up loose ends, and I was gonna say like it felt really rushed and they tied up all the loose ends, but like But that was the point of the movie.
I mean, they had to. You
yeah.
know?
So, but other than that, I also really like Firefly. But yeah,
I
show.
I
Good
love
job.
making like a space western. It was beautiful. It was perfect.
Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame it won't ever come back.
Never
I mean,
say never.
I mean, it might get a reboot, but
Part
it
of me
won't
is
be
like,
good.
I really hope it's been this long. It needs to just stay
exactly.
as a good memory.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Not do what they did to like Star Wars.
Does that lead us into Sean's number 3? Sorry, did I cut you off?
No, you're good. You're good.
So, as you may have guessed, my number 3 is Lord of the Rings. Specifically, Two Towers.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was a joke for a second. I thought you were.
No.
it's
It
the
is.
Star.
It is Lord of the Rings.
It's the Two Towers, the second one.
Two Towers. And I mean, all of the Lord of the Rings movies are epic and just large, you know. And I love just content, like just sitting and watching movies. I could sit down and watch Lord of the Rings plus the extended, and that's just 6 hours of screen time, you know. And I'm loving every second of it. I actually just recently, with all the COVID shutdowns and stuff, movie theaters were having a hard time finding content, so they played the Lord of the Rings trilogy extended edition in theaters, and I got to go see it there, and it was an experience.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
I feel like the seats would have to have a built-in bathroom.
I
Or a built-in
did have
toilet
to I
for
did have
that.
to go to the
Did they have
bathroom.
Did
for
they
a
have an
couple-
intermission?
Oh, it was like one day we're playing the first one and then come back another day.
I
It wasn't
thought you
all in
meant-
one go.
Oh, I thought you meant it was just back to back.
That would
Like,
be
isn't-
insane.
Isn't that like 12 or 16 hours or
No,
something?
it was like one day we do this, one day we do this.
That's a lot better.
But my favorite scene in the Two Towers is Sam's monologue, where Frodo's like, "Oh no, like what are we gonna do? It's hopeless." And Sam's like, "We're holding on to something. There's good in this world, and it's worth fighting for." And every time I'm like, "Oh my god!" It's I love that scene, and I love that movie. That's why it's my number 3.
Awesome. What
Nice.
about you, Andrew? Number 3.
Let me check my notes here.
Mission Possible again.
No, my number 3 is the movie Airplane.
Oh,
I love mainly nostalgia, but honestly, you don't see movies like Airplane anymore. It's just good old fashioned comedy.
Yeah.
And I always say that it's a dude movie because whenever I'd watch it with my family, myself, my brother, and my dad would laugh, and Remy, and my dad would laugh, and everyone else would be like, I don't get it, or I don't see why that's funny. It just, I don't know. It's just so. Sometimes it's so dumb. That's why it gets you. Like when they
yeah.
walk in and they're like, "Let's take some pictures, boys," and then they go to the wall and take the pictures off the wall. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
It's just like the stupid humor. Like that's why I love Adam Sandler. Like
Yeah, it's and like when
the exotic
a-
dancer on the piano, and then pans up and she's got the trombone. That's my favorite part.
like they get on the plane and there's a nun reading the popular magazine Boy's Life. And then you walk past a little boy reading a magazine called Nun's Life. It's got a nun on like a surfboard, and it's a riot. The whole movie's just a riot. And-
the guy's freaking out and everything's like, "Get a hold of yourself!" There's like a line of people. He's got like a wrench and she's loading a gun.
And then they did make a sequel, Airplane 2. I honestly don't remember a lot of it. It wasn't as good as the first one, but
Was that the one with like the condom scene where he's like, I practice safe sex," and she's like, "Me too," and then they're like wearing
no,
giant condoms.
that's Naked Gun.
Oh, Naked
which
Gun.
is also that humor is very similar.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it has Leslie Nelson, which is in both movies.
Yeah.
Who since passed away, but very old school comedy. I don't know. I watch it. My wife doesn't like it. she doesn't think it's funny at all. But that's my number 3.
Is it time for number 2?
The top.
Bust
Yeah,
out
we're
your
almost
two,
there.
dude. We're getting close.
Dude, this is going to be a little interesting. So,
Give it to
my
me.
number 2
Give me your number 2.
is Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I love that movie so much. I remember watching the movie and then realizing, oh, this was based off a manga and
Short anime, right?
short anime. It was like the VODs, whatever they call them. They're like 30-minute, whatever, anime movies. And, oh my gosh, I remember, like, watching the movie, being super obsessed with it, going back, reading all the manga, and, oh, I love it. I love it so much. I really hope that they continue with it.
Because they left it on a really good cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah. And, yeah,
That
they stuck really close to the comics, too.
And you got to give them props for that. That the fans of the original can look at that and say, "Oh man, like this is what I remember." Like because you still get that nostalgia, but you get to see the awesome animations and the guy's hammer swinging around, and you love to see when they're loyal to the source
I
material.
love it. Absolutely love it.
one thing that surprised me with Alita was actually the ending, because it was a cliffhanger. Like as soon as it ended, I was like, "Wait, oh, that's the end of the movie." 'Cause for some reason, I'm like, "Oh, they'll wrap this up.
Yeah.
They'll get up there and fight the guy or whatever." But they kind of stopped it at an abrupt time, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll wait for the second one." I think there's a second one.
Are they making a second one?
I don't know if it's been announced, but
I hope so.
I haven't heard
We'll see.
anything. Yeah.
yeah.
We'll keep us posted.
Sean, what's your number 2?
Number 2 is Russell Crowe's Gladiator.
I knew that'd be on there.
Yeah. I guess I just have a thing for swords and spears and battles and stuff. I don't know what about that movie specifically gets me so riled up. Like, I love Russell Crowe's performance in it, for one. And Joaquin Phoenix in it.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect, you know?
Aren't they making another one?
I hope not.
I thought they were. I thought
He dies at the end of the... Spoilers. He dies at the end of the first one, like...
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Both of them die at the end of the first. Like, who are they going to make it about? Like, Lucius?
Yeah, it's supposed to come out in 2022.
Really? Is it about the kid?
No, they bring him back.
Maybe this isn't such a reliable source. Let me dig a little further. Keep going.
Because everyone dies, but I don't know. Maybe like the rebel against the.
You know what? No, I think this is like a. No, I'm not gonna trust this. Yeah, for now we're gonna say that there is no Gladiator 2.
Oh well.
But it's a good movie.
But yeah, don't like Roman legionnaire turned slave turned gladiator who defied an emperor. It's a good movie.
It was a good movie.
It's a great movie.
Andrew?
Check it out.
Your number 3? 2?
Number two. My number 2 is a bit of an older movie. It's The Thing.
Ooh.
Really?
Yes, The Thing is my number 2.
I've never heard you talk about The Thing.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I've got a poster of it. I used to watch it with my brother Alex all the time, and we would spend so much time theorizing this movie.
Really?
There's actually a lot of theories behind this movie. It was made in, I believe, 82, and it got remade in 2011. Don't watch the remake. But it's a horror/thriller. By today's standards, it's not that scary, but it's about a research team. Is it the Arctic? Now I feel bad. I don't remember. They're
Somewhere
in,
snowy.
Yeah, somewhere snowy, and they uncover this ancient alien type. Well, actually, the previous research team uncovers this alien type ship, and the monster gets loose. And anyway, the monster gets into the research facility, and it takes on the host's body.
Yeah.
So you never really know who the thing is. And the way it's filmed is you don't know what everyone's doing. So like while you're following one guy, someone else is doing this, and you have to keep track in your head where everyone's at. And it's a hard movie to follow sometimes, but if you can follow it, it's cool to see like the path that the monster takes. And I don't know, it's a really good movie. It has a really cool ending. A lot of fans theorize about the ending. They came out and the actors and the director were like, no, that's not true, which was sad because I thought it would be cool if that was the case. But no, that's my second.
So 2 fun facts that I want to share about that movie. First is at the very beginning, like there's like the natives who are like boogity gobbity goobity ga, like in their language.
Yeah, I think they find the Norwegian team or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like they're saying like stay away from the dog. The dog
Yeah.
is bad. So it's like a big spoiler,
Yeah,
like T1.
Yeah, because the dog of the first research team goes to the second one, and that's how it travels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one, for those of you, for maybe our younger audience out there, the popular game Among Us is actually based on
that makes
on that.
a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
It based on that movie.
Also, in a lot of TV shows, mainly in like horror, like Stranger Things and other shows, they'll have like posters on the wall, and usually it'll be like Evil Dead or Jaws. The Thing is a very popular one because it's the movie art is really famous. I don't know if you've seen it. It looks amazing, but there's a lot of people that like pay respects to it and have it in their movie. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Down to the number one. I'm pretty sure everyone knows. We know each other pretty well.
I know Chase's, and you guys know mine.
Yeah.
And I know
you
you.
know,
Okay,
you know
we
mine.
all.
Yeah.
My number one.
Number one.
The whole Fast and Furious franchise, hands down. I know it's basic. I know those movies are just so terrible. They're amazing.
Now-
the logic, you throw logic out of the window because you don't need logic when you have family.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say it. I knew it.
No, just for fun, because you were doing this to me in the car the other day, and I was like, wow. Name the Fast and Furious movies in order, like in chronological order.
So it goes 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3, 7, 8, Hobbs and Shaw 9,
Wow.
something like that.
We were driving. I was like picking him up after he dropped his truck off at the shop, and he's just like 2417 Tokyo Drift, Hobbs and Shaw 9, 2148, and I'm like, wow.
No, it's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3, 7, 8, Hobbs and Shaw 9. Yeah.
I love it.
I'm loving the memes of the space memes right now. Those are pretty funny.
I love the one where Dom is in space and you see him with Anakin. And he's like, "Hey Annie, I hear you need a little help." And he's like, "Dom, what are you doing here in space? You can't breathe out here." And he's like,
Wait.
"You throw away logic when you have family." Or something.
You don't
Yeah.
need oxygen when you have family.
Yeah.
Whoa!
I love them. I absolutely love them.
Oh,
I've
boy.
watched them hundreds of times. Sean.
Sean, you're number one.
Turn. My number one. I'm gonna say Star Wars is my number one, with an asterisk, and we'll get into that.
He loves Ray.
But specifically, I actually had a hard time choosing between Episode 5 and Episode 3. Episode 3, the one that I don't want to say grew up with because I grew up watching the older ones, but the one that I went to the theater by myself, and it was like this big epic fight, and I was like, oh yeah, that's so cool. And that final scene with Anakin and Obi-Wan. But I mean, Star Wars as a franchise, it's not just the movies that get me going. It started a lifestyle almost of video games.
Wearing a cape to school.
Yeah, I was.
You think? Wait. So everyone listen. You think I'm joking, but I'm not joking.
When you are president
Sean
of the Star Wars
Sean was
Club,
Star Wars Club president.
I would wear my lightsaber on my belt to class. And you know the thing that bugs me the most about this? I actually had a conversation with a coworker about this recently, where back in those days, people were like, "Look at this guy."
That's really true. Star Wars was not. It wasn't
this
mainstream.
nerd.
It wasn't mainstream to be
Yeah.
a fan. It was just.
And
it's an old
nowadays,
movie.
everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I love Rey, and oh man, I love the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. Oh, I've always been a Star Wars fan." And it's like, you weren't there.
Not only that, but people be like, "Oh, do you like Star Wars?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, I like Disney."
That hurt me. Oh,
I mean, it's true though. They've kind of taken it and they've made it their own.
I mean, there are some good things to come out of it, but mostly bad. and I'll get into that. But Star Wars is my number one. It's influenced my movie choices, my story choices, my game choices, my everything. Half of my house decorations are Star Wars.
What about you, Andrew?
All right.
Number one.
My number one is also a couple of movies. It's Indiana Jones. And it's very much based on nostalgia. I grew up watching Indiana Jones, and I loved him as a character. I thought he was. I mean, he kind of is a hero. I mean, no real powers, but he's got the Laura Croft vibes, and I don't know. I just really liked it. I mean, all but the last one, which we don't talk about. That was
There was only 3.
There's only 3.
They're actually making another one.
Shut up.
No, I'm not joking.
Dude, Harrison Ford is. There's no way.
He got
He's
injured
so-
recently on set because he's 80 years old
He's
trying to make an
so
Indiana
old.
Jones movie.
It'll always have a special place in my heart. I think it has a good moral. I know that sounds weird, but
I think one of my favorite moments
I like the bad guys
with
in it.
Andrew and Indiana Jones is when we went to Disneyland and they have an Indiana Jones ride. Watching him get into the ride.
I loved it, dude. We probably rode that ride 10
times.
times.
Just like-
We went on repeat, and
He was like scaring kids.
Remember those are real arrows.
those are real darts coming out.
We're
And
dodging them.
Don't look into the eye.
He's like, you always have to look.
And you know what was funny? The first time I rode the ride, I felt really insecure because I was like, what movie is this? I was like, did I miss part of the lore? And then I looked it up and I'm like, oh, they just made this. So
Yeah,
that's-
yeah.
I was like, okay, that's fine, just for the ride. But it's a very good ride as well. But that is my number 1 movie.
I think one of the last times we rode it, it was that there was that little kid who was so deathly afraid, and his parents were just like, or the ride operator's like, should I just let him off? And the parents are like, no, just go,
Just go. He's
And
fine.
then
And then, like at the end of the ride, he goes and he just runs
he's
away.
just crying. Yeah.
He might be living there still to this day.
He might. Fun fact: that Jeep that's parked out front was from Raiders.
Yep.
It was an actual
for
prop.
real?
For
That's
real.
cool.
That was
That's
an
tight.
actual prop. But
That's super cool.
yeah, I think it was my birthday. My in-laws got me this like the making of Indiana Jones, and it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it, and I
That
would
is
love
really
to.
cool.
I'd love to cosplay as him someday, or own like a piece of a prop, or I mean, heck, I've made a D&D character based off him.
Yeah.
So-
I remember, it wasn't BlizzCon when we found the pops.
Oh no! So technically, yeah, it was BlizzCon. So we went to California for BlizzCon 2018, which was a bad year for BlizzCon. But
we were at ground zero that year.
while I was down there, I located an Indiana. There's 3 Indiana Jones pops. I bought 2 of them, and they were It was the one of him holding the Golden Isle, which was really expensive at the time, and then another one, the Disneyland exclusive. Held on to them. I sold them years later, but those were prized possessions at one point.
Do you
man.
still have the VHS seal?
Yes, I do.
I-
That you gave me for my birthday.
You and I didn't.
We
were
found that at a DI.
It was some thrift store.
Yeah, I think it was Savers actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I still do. It's the sealed VHS tapes. I have them on my bookshelf.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Chase found those, picked it up, and I was like, "Damn, he got to him first."
I couldn't believe that it was sealed. Anyway, it's awesome. How should we segue into
Should
our?
we end it with our most just one? We'll just do one.
One.
We'll do it really quick. Our most hated movie.
Most hated movies.
500 Days of Summer.
Oh,
Absolutely hate.
Ooh.
Terrible movie. I'm sorry. I've tried.
He apologizes to all the teenage girls out there.
I have tried. I offended this one girl so bad once because we were talking about movies. Well, she like overheard Andrew and I talking,
I remember.
and
that
I was
movie.
like, I just hate 500 Days of Summer. And she walks over and she's like, "That's the best movie ever," and like was just, I hate it. Just absolutely hate it.
You're just like,
Terrible
well,
movie.
you're wrong.
was it because like it was slow or the plot was stupid? Just all of the
Just,
above.
it was just hot garbage.
Hot garbage.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Sean.
Okay, buckle your seatbelts, kids.
I have a
'Cause
guess. I want to see if I'm right.
You're probably right.
Oh, okay.
So I have a lot to say about this. It cut me off.
It can
if
only be
gets-
one. It can only be one movie.
It is only one
Okay,
movie.
okay.
But cut me off if I get a little
All right.
too much on a tangent here. Most hated movie is Star Wars.
Oh, I was wrong.
Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Nope.
Okay.
Wasn't 7?
No, 7. Now 7, I walked out of the theater with a little bit of hope for the future. Okay? walking out of episode 8, you would think that I would be steaming. Now, I am a rager, all right? People who know me know that I get upset. I got a short fuse,
I get upset with the law. I get upset with.
and I explode, right? Walking out of episode 8, I was poker face.
Okay, so
I was so beyond angry. I didn't even know how to react. I was dead inside at the end of that movie.
To everyone listening, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I know that's surprising, but I actually don't know what Episode 8's about. I'm blanking really hard. Can you explain?
Okay. So, for just a bit of backstory.
Yeah.
Episode 7, they introduce their new characters, their new cast.
When did this get released? Was this the one with Rey and BB-8 and all that?
Yes.
Okay,
So that was episode
I think
7.
I've seen that or part of that.
There was like the Disney buyout, and then they did episode 7.
Okay, I remember like BB-8 and Rey, and then the next one was the one that takes place before 4 and 5, or something like that.
Oh no, that's you're thinking of
Solo.
No, not
Oh,
Solo.
Rogue One.
you're thinking of Rogue One, and that
Okay.
takes place between 3 and 4.
What's this one?
So this one, episode 8, is the continuation of like Rey and Finn and BB-8, like their story.
Okay.
But they switched directors, and so like all of the questions that they left you with at the end of episode 7,
Ugh, they didn't get in.
not like some weren't answered, some were resolved in like a really, really, really stupid way. Here, prime example, okay? In episode 7, there's this new villain that's supposed to be like the big bad guy called Snoke.
Okay.
And he's got like this messed up face, and
was
he's like,
was this guy made up, or does he exist in? The
I mean,
lore?
in Disney's canon,
Okay.
he exists.
But okay.
I need to take a breath. I'm getting worked up just talking about this. But Snoke was introduced, and he's like this mysterious figure who's controlling all the strings from the background, kind of an Emperor Palpatine type character. And they end episode 7, and everyone's like, who is this guy? Like, he's this big baddie, like he's been amassing this army under everyone's nose. There were so many theories about what's going on with this guy, what's going on with this guy.
I mean that's a sign of a good movie. Like,
Yeah, no, that's why I was saying, like, I walked out of episode 7 like, all right, that was their establishing film. What's next? You know, I had some hope for the future. Episode 8, like,
just took a tangent, just a curve.
yep.
Wow.
So there's a scene in episode 8 where like Snoke has Rey in like the interrogation room, and he's like, I finally got you, and I can sense to, you know, doing the whole Star Wars talk, and then he dies. And it's like, wait.
Just of natural causes, or
So I mean, Kylo Ren stabs him
oh, okay.
with the Force, but like,
Wait,
With a lightsaber.
why?
exactly.
Because him and Ray are.
I have no idea.
I get okay.
So he dies, and all of those questions that you had about who is this guy, what's going, doesn't matter. He's dead.
yeah, he's dead. Well,
he
maybe
was
he'll
was
come
like
back.
I'm a big scary guy, and then he died. That's the that's the end.
All right, well, let's move on to Andrew.
Dude,
now.
I'm sorry. I have a lot to say about this, and I'm sure we'll revisit it on another day.
We'll
But
definitely revisit it.
but
My number one, I don't think you guys could guess it because I don't talk about it too much because I don't like remembering it. But my number one hated movie of all time.
Number 5, Indiana Jones.
No, surprisingly,
Well,
I
4.
actually hate that. That's in my top 5, but this movie I hate even more. Green Lantern.
Ooh.
the Ryan Reynolds one.
I hated that movie so much, and that's because I went in with a lot of expectation. I love Green Lantern. I love Hal Jordan. I like DC, which is a shame because their movies are not the best. But Green Lantern was hot garbage.
You know what they say.
It did everything wrong when it comes to a superhero movie.
Oh yeah.
Everything. And one of the parts I hate, and I know Sean hates this too, is when the girl's like, "Oh, I knew you were Green Lantern," like all the
Yeah.
time. Like,
Yeah.
it's super easy to tell.
Yeah.
And the CGI was weird, and he like makes a Hot Wheels track, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, all right. And then he just makes goofy stuff, and the plot was weird, and they didn't dive into the lore at all. And again, I always say this: I wish it were darker. I wish,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
like
DC. Yeah.
yeah, and it's Ryan Reynolds jokes about how bad this movie was.
Oh yeah.
Which, I mean, that's good, I guess, that they know that, but I wish they would just scrap it, redo it, dive into the
Delete
the,
it from
the la-
existence.
Well, especially now that they're getting into like the Justice League universe, you gotta have a
Yeah.
Green Lantern.
Yeah, I mean, he's a pivotal part, and I wish they dive into the. Like, there's so much you can do. You can dive into the Lantern Corps. There's so many villains, and
Bring in my boy Jon Stewart.
sure, like it. I don't know. Every time I think about it, I cringe, and then it makes me think about the other DC movies, and I just get upset.
Well, hope you guys learned a little bit about us. A little bit of I always find that you can get to know someone pretty good
That's
by
very true.
what movies they like and
Oh, yeah.
dislike.
First question, ask someone that you know exactly who they are.
I mean, and anytime I go on a date, which isn't often, 'cause is definitely, what's your top 5 favorite movies? And of course, sometimes you got like,
They're like, I don't
Vanilla
watch movies. And you're like,
answers.
this is over.
I mean, there's this one girl I was going out with for a second there who just never watched movies. Like,
I've come across that too. Yeah, people are just like, I don't know, I don't really watch movies.
and I'm like, okay, thanks, bye.
But
But yeah,
Episode 1, exciting.
thanks for joining. We'll see y'all next week. 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 Y'all next week.